Hey, what's going on, everyone? This is Mitch. Good Monday morning to you all. I hope you guys are doing great out there this morning and having a wonderful start to your day and a great beginning to your new week out there so far. We got a lot to cover in this morning's video as we're trying to figure out what is going to happen with this winter storm. So this is the way we'll break it up. We'll speak on the central U.S. first. This will include everybody across the plains all the way down to the southern plains like, Oklahoma, Kansas. We'll basically include everybody in the central U.S. that is west of the Mississippi. Now, we will get east a little bit into Mississippi, western Tennessee, western Kentucky, southern Illinois, and Indiana, but for the most part, we'll stay west of the Mississippi River in the central U.S. timestamp. And then for the eastern U.S. timestamp, we'll cover everybody else east of that area. So, Alabama, the rest of Tennessee, Georgia, all the way up to Kentucky, southern Ohio, points east into the Carolinas, Virginia, mid-Atlantic. So we're not going to miss anybody in this video. I mean, chances are I might miss someone, but I think we'll cover 95% of everybody in this storm in great detail. So we'll show you all those fancy graphics from the National Weather Service. What is the latest information that we have? We'll show you individual towns and cities. These graphics will be awesome. I think if you're a new viewer, you'll definitely appreciate them. It'll definitely help you out. There's going to be, times in the videos where we kind of have to make our way through all these graphics, right? So just be patient or just kind of click through. I can't make a timestamp for every single state or there would just be a bunch of clutter in the video. But like I said, just make your way through them. Chances are you're going to get the information you're seeking. So at the very end of the video, we will speak a little bit on this lake effect snow event expected for areas off Lake Ontario. This will be a significant event, especially for mid to late February standards. So we'll speak a little bit on that. If you guys have not subscribed, certainly consider doing that. Like the video if you like it. If anybody has anything that I can pray about or pray over, please put it in the comments below. So this is what's going on right now. We got this area of light, at times moderate snow, kind of cruising across the middle of the country. This is kind of the precursor event, if you will, to our main event, which is still really getting going across the high plains. We got some northwest flow snow going across the Appalachian Mountains. We got some lake effect snow already ongoing across this the Great Lakes area. But outside of that, there's nothing huge happening right at this second. Now, we do look at the latest watches, warnings, and advisories, and I've been using WeatherWise, but it's so cluttered up right now because of all the flood warnings ongoing that I decided to use just Pivotal Weather, so it doesn't have the towns and cities on here, but I'll try to mention a few. This is not winter storm warning type stuff up here in Nebraska. It could change, though, for the southern counties. You could get upgrades from advisories to warnings. We'll see. But Kansas City has been upgraded to a winter storm warning now, all the way down to Joplin, Springfield. St. Louis, you're still hanging on those winter storm watches, could get upgraded to an advisory or either a warning. We'll have to see. Tulsa, winter storm warnings. No winter weather alerts in Oklahoma City, but Wichita, winter storm warnings. I think I said Joplin already. And all the northern counties of Arkansas do have winter storm warnings. This does include the Boot Hill, Missouri. Winter storm warnings up, and then we move a little bit further east. Winter storm warnings are up into the far northwest corner of Tennessee. Winter storm watches go from Memphis to Nashville. See if we'll get upgrades one way or the other. And a good chunk of the state of Kentucky is on a winter storm watches, including southern Illinois, southern Indiana, including Evansville. Definitely, I don't think this will be a storm for like Indianapolis or anybody like that. But we could get some snow all the way up to, definitely Louisville, Cincinnati. But no alerts up into southern Ohio. These winter weather advisories right now for what's going on right now. But winter storm watches do expand almost all the way clear through eastern Kentucky. But as of now, there's no winter storm watches up for Virginia, North Carolina. I think that'll change once we get to the afternoon hours for sure. By the time we do an evening video, we'll certainly have scattered winter storm watches all the way to the East Coast. So let's give you some updated information. Let's look at the latest 06Z Euros. This is the fresh information that we got, okay? And I'm not going to compare a bunch of model guidance or the video will be an hour and a half long. We don't want to do that. Let's just stick with one model. I've been doing that lately, and I think it's went pretty well. And I'm picking the Euro. I think it's done well. We're going to start this off this evening. We will continue to have this light, at times moderate snow falling, and very cold temperatures, I want to add. So, this is, snow falling very, very cold. So it's just blowing around, accumulating on everything. We start to take it to the middle of the night. We start to get some more moisture that begins to blossom across the plains. Snowing in Colorado, still snowing all the way up to Montana. Wyoming, southwest areas of South Dakota. Snow starts to pick up a little bit more of intensity here in northern Missouri, southern areas of Iowa. A little slither of snow trying to get all the way down to St. Louis tonight. And then we take it to tomorrow morning. So it's about this time tomorrow morning. Snow just continues to sag south with this kind of push of cold Arctic air. I mean, this is going to be Arctic. It's very cold. And then we start to make it into about midday Tuesday. The storm begins to blossom. You start to see the darker blues showing up here in areas of Kansas, even a little bit in southern Nebraska, around southwestern Missouri. And I'm just going to go on and flip it to the south central U.S. here. Okay. So we're starting to get some freezing rain. The pink showing up around Oklahoma City points south. A little bit of freezing rain kind of moving into western areas of Arkansas. And then we go on and take it to about Tuesday afternoon, tomorrow afternoon. You see the heavier snow. I keep mentioning this. Right where Missouri, Kansas, Oklahoma, and Arkansas sort of come together, this will be the kind of the highlight area of this storm, at least in the central U.S. So that's some pretty heavy snow falling around Joplin into Springfield, down to Tulsa. And listen, this snow is going to be falling in very cold temperatures, very, very cold temperatures. And then we start to get a wintry mix trying to move into Little Rock. Might be all rain at first, but I think eventually you will get a wintry mix into Little Rock. Oklahoma City, sort of snow, ice mix. I don't think this will get down to the Dallas-Fort Worth area or anything like that, but we go on and take it into the evening hours. The snow picks up in intensity even more. We get this heavy band of snow falling up here in southwest Missouri. Like I said, right where Kansas, Oklahoma, I keep saying this, Arkansas, Missouri, all come together. Heavy banding of snow. And look at the temperatures this is falling at. It's, just snowing hard at like 10, 9, 8 degrees in Springfield and Joplin. Hard. I mean, this is going to be a cold snow. It's not going to be chilling at about 32, 28 degrees. I mean, it's going to be snowing in very, very cold temperatures, guys. So, this is not this is this is like Alaska type snow, like Antarctica type snow, guys. So, you keep this going. This starts to turn to a full-fledged, freezing rain mess down into Little Rock. We start to get a wintry mix moving into Memphis. We start to get snow moving into western Kentucky, southern Illinois. It starts to pick up in intensity. This band of snow will be cruising across the southern half of Missouri, northern half of Arkansas. You could get inch and a half per hour rates in this area. The freezing rain continues, and it tries to turn to freezing rain as far south as, Shreveport. It tries to right at the last second. It's freezing rain in the entire southern half of Arkansas, snow in the northern half. We get heavy snow starting to move into Memphis. It's definitely trended colder. Wintry mix moving into the northern half. If you live in northern Mississippi, you're probably going to get a wintry mix late Tuesday night. This is getting into the wee hours of the morning, Wednesday morning, like 3, 4, 5 o'clock in the morning. And then it begins to lessen up somewhat, still hanging on to some freezing rain along like the Mississippi Delta region. Snow still flying around out here in Memphis, all western Tennessee, western Kentucky, Paducah, for example, to Boot Hill. And then by the time we're going to put to about midday Wednesday, this is about done. We're done with the system, and it's heading on off. So let's first start off by showing you guys a broad look at snowfall totals, just in case I miss anybody. So you can see where the swath of snow is, right? Stretching from Montana, Wyoming, all the way through the plains, all the way down to Missouri, northern Arkansas, and then there's the accumulating snow. And southern Illinois, southern Indiana into Tennessee and Kentucky. So that's a broad look. Here's a broad look at the freezing rain totals. And now let's go on and zoom into some of these graphics. I want to show you that broad look just in case I miss anybody, because I am going to miss some people. But here's South Dakota, Rapid City, 2 to 3 inches of snow. But if you live in this area, there's probably not a lot of people that tune into my channel in this area. But, here's a graphic. I don't want to leave. I want to try to include as many people as possible, but I'm going to miss people. But this is snowfall between now and about 5 a.m. Tuesday. So, this is like under 24 hours worth of snow. Could get a dusting of snow out in eastern Colorado, 1 to 2 once you get further into the eastern counties of Colorado. But still could be snowing after this time frame. Several inches of snow is going to add up into the Rockies of Colorado. And then Nebraska. Interstate 80 kind of points north, a moderate snow event, a few to several inches. The further south you get in Nebraska, the more snow. It's that simple. Omaha, 4 to 6, Lincoln 6. They haven't changed this forecast much. They pretty much have stuck with this. And it's almost a carbon copy of what happened earlier last week, too, as far as their forecast snow totals. But McCook, 4 to 6, Kearney, 4, Grand Island, 4 to 6, Falls City, 6 to 8, Sioux City up here, 2 to 3. No freezing rain expected in this area. Iowa, I will show you guys some love. Not going to be a big system statewide for you guys, but you get into the southwest corner of the state. 1, 2, far southwest corner could get 3 to 4 inches of snow. Got some winter weather advisories down here. And then we kind of book it back southwest, and this does include sections of eastern Colorado. A good 1 to 4 inch snow event for you guys, but checking out Goodland, Imperial, 3 to 5, Goodland 2 to 4. Just the western sections of Kansas is going to get probably a good 1 to as much as 8 inches of snow. It just depends on where you live. The further east you make your way down the interstate into central Kansas, the more snow you're going to get. So you can see how the totals creep up towards Hays. 4 to 8 inches of snow's forecast here. And then we get closer to Dodge City, 3 to 5 here. Hays, there's that 5 to 8. Pratt, 2 to 4. Greensburg, 2 to 4 inches of snow. So a decent event, but you got to get up closer to, say, Interstate 70 to get more snow in this event. And then we start to get into the northeast corner of the state. Topeka, 5 to 8 is between now and 6 a.m. Wednesday. 5 to 8 in Kansas City. Emporia, 6 to 9. Newton, 5 to 9 inches. Ottawa, 6 to 9 inches of snow. And then we get to the most highlighted area probably of the state, which is the southeast corner. And Eureka, 6 to 11. Coffeyville now 7 to 11. Topeka 5 to 8. Already mentioned that. Wichita 5 to 9. Hutchinson 4 to 8 inches of snow. So a pretty significant winter storm in this area. And then we kind of move a little bit deeper into Missouri. 4 to 8 inches of snow in Kansas City is what you're forecasting, but it starts to creep up a good bit the further south you get. Butler down Interstate 49. 7 to 12, Jefferson City 5 to 10. You get up the road, St. Joseph 3 to 7, Maryville 2 to 5, Kirksville 1 to 4. And then we get closer to St. Louis. St. Louis is right on the fringe of a significant winter storm. But 4 to 8 inches of snow will add up in St. Louis. Very cold storm. You get a little bit further up into Illinois, Springfield 1 to 3. This includes southern areas of Illinois, Chester 5 to 9, Marion 4 to 7. This is southeastern areas of Missouri. Roloff 7 to 12, Lebanon 7 to 13 inches, Farmington 6 to 11. And then we start to get into what I think is going to be probably the highlight of this storm for the central U.S. Springfield 8 to 11. This could go up some. I know that's kind of tweaked down, maybe tweaked up, depending on what video you watched. 8 to 11 in Joplin. There is this area kind of in the darker orange that's going for over a foot of snow. West Plains 6 to 9, Ava 6 to 10, Branson 6 to 9 inches of snow, Warsaw 6 to 10. A lot of snow in this area, dry, powdery snow too. And then we gotta zoom back into southwestern Missouri, and I'm really showing you this because of Kentucky. Paducah 4 to 6, Mount Vernon 4 to 7, Evansville 3 to 5, even getting into southwestern Indiana. Owensboro 3 to 5, Madisonville 3 to 5. And guys, some of these could upgrade right after I do these videos, so that's why it's important that's why I do 2 videos a day, because I always want to get you guys fresh information. So kind of book it back down to the panhandle of Texas and Oklahoma. Not much is expected in this area. Could get a dusting of snow, but not much. The rest of Oklahoma, Oklahoma City itself, an inch or less. Up to Stillwater, 2 inches. Woodard, about an inch. Enid, hopefully I said that right, 3 inches. Tulsa, around 3 inches of snow, but we'll zoom into this graphic here in a second. And then ice, definitely can get some ice. Going for almost 1/10 of an inch of freezing rain in Oklahoma City. And once you get it's kind of south or either really, really east of Oklahoma City, you get into the over 1/10 of an inch of freezing rain. But a little bit closer to the Tulsa area, they cover a very small area, by the way. 4 to 5 inches of snow is what they're calling for in Tulsa. Bartlesville, 8 to 9 inches. Miami, not Miami, Florida. Miami, 10 to 11 inches of snow. Fayetteville, good 3 to 4. Fort Smith, 1/2 inch to 1 inch of snow. Maybe a little bit of freezing rain in this area, especially once you get to Interstate 40. 1/10 of an inch of freezing rain is possible. You get south of Fort Smith, more freezing rain could get introduced into the picture for sure. So, And then we look at Arkansas. You know, Little Rock about an inch or less. I'm not expecting much snow in Little Rock, but you get into the northern counties of Arkansas, this is where you're going to get 3 to 6 inches of snow depending on where you live. Harrison, 6 inches. Mountain View, 3. Jonesboro, 3 inches. We'll kind of zoom back into this little area here in a second. But ice will be a concern. Unfortunately, it just seems like I'm not going to take any shots. Seems like Little Rock can be good, and then they're just not great about putting their updated graphics onto their site. Twitter, Little Rock is awesome, like social media, but just not great with putting it on here. But anyways, the latest freezing rain totals. Little Rock, kind of south. You know, if you live in this kind of darker pink, that's where you could get over 1/10 of an inch of freezing rain. So definitely going to get this corridor of freezing rain to this area. It's not going to take much. It's going to be pretty cold as temperatures will be dropping. And then the latest update from Memphis. Let's see if we have a new graphic. See if anything's changed. We do not. So right now they're going for about an inch or two of snow in Memphis. It increases a good bit once you get up Interstate 55, Interstate 40. So you get up to Dyersburg, 4 to 5 inches of snow. Union City closer to 6. Paris, 4 to 5. Parsons, 2, 2.5, 3 inches. Jackson, 2 to 3 inches of snow. I mean, maybe Corinth, about an inch of snow. Holly Springs, a half an inch to an inch, so a little bit of snow. This could increase down here. There's been some colder model runs. This graphic shows almost an inch of snow in Little Rock. And here's some better looking graphics for like the Boot Hill, Missouri, and then like northern areas of Arkansas. Jonesboro, I think I already said that. 3 to 4, it was at Pocahontas. 5 to 6, Blytheville. 4 to 5. So, freezing rain. They don't really they're not thinking much freezing rain. And then that's it for the central U.S. Let's talk about the eastern U.S. So there's a lot of little things to cover in the eastern U.S. And really, we're just going to spend a little bit more time on the actual storm itself, and then we'll spend just as much time on how much they're forecasting. So this is the latest 06Z Euro. And I wish I had the time to kind of compare a bunch of model guides because I want to show you a little feature that's showing behind the main system. So we're going to start this around 3 or 4 o'clock in the morning, Wednesday morning. Snows cruising across Kentucky, Tennessee. We got a wintry mix into northern areas of Mississippi. We got snow moving into northern Alabama now. Florence, Huntsville. Will it make it as far south as Birmingham? I wouldn't be surprised y'all get a brief wintry mix Wednesday morning at all. One thing you notice is, it's plenty cold enough for snow in Tennessee, up into Kentucky. Up into southern areas of Ohio, Indiana, West Virginia, but there's that lighter shade of blue. It looks like the storm loses some energy on the northern side. That has been a trend, a little bit of a drier trend for this area. But there is still, you got to remember, this is very cold temperatures in this area. For example, let's look at temperatures. Okay, this is snow falling, even in Nashville. Almost in the upper teens, low 20s. This is snow falling in the mid to low teens in Kentucky. So it'll have absolutely no issue accumulating whatsoever. That's even some moderate snow flying around. So you keep going, it still just looks weaker. It looks kind of just strung out. It just looks squashed almost. Not squashed, but it just doesn't look well put together as far as heavy precipitation on the northern side. So watch what happens here. As we continue to move forward here, we got some moderate snow moving into right where, West Virginia, Kentucky, Tennessee all kind of come together. And then this kind of begins to come together in the mid-Atlantic, North Carolina. We start to get some freezing rain showing up here in southeastern North Carolina. Mainly rain in South Carolina, even some snow in northern Georgia, still wintry mix in northern Alabama. Snow begins to taper off in Nashville midday or early afternoon Wednesday. Still snowing in eastern Tennessee, still snowing in eastern Kentucky. And then as we start to get into Wednesday afternoon, it's even snowing now in upstate South Carolina. It's just not heavy. It's just light snow. This is all light stuff all up in the southwestern Virginia, southern West Virginia. Just a light event. But I want you to watch what happens right into here. And I'm going to go on and zoom into this. Okay, since we're done out west. Watch how the system begins to crank up a lot of moisture into North Carolina. Heck, even areas of South Carolina, but definitely Virginia too. So heavier snow begins to break out across sort of central to really northeastern North Carolina. We got still this freezing rain corridor from Fayetteville points east. But then it really begins to blossom. Cold air tries to move in also, so it's wild. You know, it's still snowing back in Charlotte. Heavy snow at this point is falling in Raleigh. Very heavy snow in northeastern North Carolina into Norfolk and Virginia Beach, and then the southern areas of the Tidewater. And then we take it one more frame. We got freezing rain falling in the PD of South Carolina, almost all the way down to Myrtle Beach and Wilmington. Basically, southeast areas of North Carolina getting all out ice events. Still a little bit of snow flying around back here in Charlotte. Some back-end snow trying to get going here in this region of the Appalachian Mountains. And then you keep going. And this is ending as extremely heavy snow in northeastern North Carolina, southeastern Virginia. But you notice it's not getting that far up north. There's a sharp cutoff. But you keep this going. And let's go on and broaden this back out, because I want you to see kind of what's going on here. You can tell that the snow don't even make it to New Jersey anymore. Don't shoot the messenger. This is why we make 2 videos a day. But this would be a significant winter storm for northeastern North Carolina. But models continue to like the idea of this upper level low swinging through and snow falling in very cold temperatures through the Ohio Valley, all the way down to the mountains of North Carolina, Virginia, all the Appalachian Mountains. And then we get this kind of back-end snow events all the way down to Charlotte, the upstate of South Carolina, as we're getting into sort of Thursday morning, Thursday in general, and some snow begins to fly around for a lot of areas that kind of miss on the first event. So we got this kind of back-end snow that kind of pivots back through. Some models teased at this a few days back, and this will kind of add additional totals. And, I mean, I will show you, the Canadian shows this too. It shows kind of some backside snow all the way down to Columbia Thursday morning. Very interesting setup. So will this happen? Not quite sure. What I can tell you is if you look at the GFS, let's go through this entire storm again. Okay, here we go. This is Wednesday morning. The GFS is a little bit more amped up, but it's just as cold as the Euro now. The Euro has kind of led this storm, but the GFS is still showing this heavier snow up into Tennessee, Kentucky. It does begin to lessen up. And we stop it here. I mean, the GFS almost starts to get snow all the way down to, like, Atlanta. This is heavy snow in northern Alabama. A little bit of icing, too, almost all the way down to Birmingham. Look at this kind of calm ahead of snow all the way up through eastern Tennessee, eastern Kentucky, West Virginia, western Virginia. And then it gets into the Carolinas and the rest of Virginia. And it's still all rain, say, down to Columbia, southeastern North Carolina. But it's snowing, a full all-out wintry mix in Charlotte. The upstate of South Carolina is getting snow. It's snowing in northern Georgia, just not heavy. And then it does the same thing as the Euro. Wednesday afternoon cranks up that moisture right into here. Heavy snow begins to fall from like Raleigh points north and northeast. We got that wintry mix. You know, the GFS isn't as crazy with the freezing rain as far southeast. But I mean, this stays all winter weather for like the Greenville-Spartanburg area and to Rock Hill and to Charlotte points north. And Hickory, I mean, the triad, the GFS certainly shows you a little bit more love in the form of snow. But once again, you know, this thing begins to crank up and it doesn't get very far north. But the GFS is still liking the idea, just like the Euro, of this backside snow activity making its way through. Not as aggressive as, say, the Canadian model, which I'm pulling for the Canadian model, even though it's kind of dead to me because of how bad it's done this winter. It does get some snow all the way down to like the Midlands of South Carolina, a little bit of light snow. This will be falling in pretty cold temperatures too, I want to add. And then it heads on out. So, you know, we certainly got to watch some of these models to see. You know, this is the icon. Let's see what it shows as far as how much snow. And it tries to pick up on that backside snow too. You see how it's kind of going and it fills in down here. Kind of picks up on that backside snow. So speaking on totals, this is the latest information. And yeah, it's coming in better for us. So this looks like a moderate snowstorm for Kentucky at minimum, but they could be considered a significant snowstorm just because of how cold the snow will be falling in. Here's, and then I'm taking a broad look, and I'm going to zoom into all these graphics that we like to do. But I'm just kind of taking that broad look first, and you can see how the totals really amp up here in the Carolinas. So not as much into, say, Western North Carolina, the Piedmont, but that could change. That could definitely change. This is only through Thursday morning, too. It's not picking up on that backside activity that could potentially happen. Just looking at the latest Euro, this is the latest Euro. Okay, it really picks up on the potential for a major event for Northeast North Carolina, Southeast Virginia. But it does bring snowfall accumulations back into North Carolina. And then here is the GFS. And then here's that Canadian run that I like, because it wants to throw some back-end snow all the way down to Columbia. It wants to give me about a half an inch, 6/10 of an inch of snow. That'd be awesome. I would just be head over heels for a half an inch of snow in this event that looks pretty much like it's just not going to happen for me here in Columbia. I'm basically just living through you guys. It's excitement. So let's go on and break down these individual graphics. And let's make sure we got updated information. So I might hit the update button a few times through this just to make sure we don't miss any updated information. But this is Northern Alabama. They're not buying this yet. I mean, they're going just for an inch or less in Northern Alabama. Florence, Huntsville, they're just not buying it. So I think that this could change. Maybe a little bit of freezing rain with this too, but they don't even have anything up for it. Let's update this. And I hate I got to do all this, but I just want to make sure you get updated information. So I know it says 2 inches in Nashville, but could very well, you might as well say 2 to 3 inches of snow. Lafayette, 2 to 3. Clarksville, probably 3 to 4. Closer to the Cumberland Plateau, somebody's probably going to get a good inch or two. Cookeville, 2 inches of snow. So this is Middle Tennessee. I don't expect any freezing rain in this area. And then this is Eastern Tennessee. And glad I'm updated that because it looks like it changed. Between now and 7 p.m. Wednesday. I don't think this is picking up on that backside snow very well. So this only goes out through Wednesday evening. So Knoxville about an inch. Morristown about an inch of snow. The Tri-Cities areas, Kingsport, Johnson City, Mountain City, I think about an inch of snow. But listen, I know I keep saying this. I don't think this is picking up on that backside because it's only going through 7 p.m. And then Kentucky, this was updated around 4:16, but I mean a decent event. This could increase for you guys. We'll have to watch, but Owensboro 3 to 6, Elizabethtown 3 to 5, Bowling Green 3 to 5, London 2 to 4, Lexington 2 to 5, Covington 1 to 3, Frankfort, Louisville 2 to 5, and we get into Eastern Kentucky, 3 to 6 inches of snow is likely for many areas. So, and then we show West Virginia. This does include southern areas of Ohio. I mean, I think southern counties of Ohio could get a couple inches of snow at most. Charleston, 3 inches between now and 7 p.m. Wednesday. I don't think this is picking up on everything. Beckley, 2. Snowshoe, 3. Let's see if there's an updated graphic. Hate I keep having to do this because it messes up the flow of the video. But this is why I do it, because they updated the graphic. See how they updated it? This goes now through 7 a.m. Thursday. So 5 inches of snow in Charleston. Flatwoods, 4. Logan, 5. Beckley, 5. Huntington, 4. That's why I update the graphics. Let's just do it for everyone. We're just going to have to be patient with this. No updated graphic. Well, they do. They just didn't change anything. Showing nothing for Atlanta, and they're not giving much love to northern Georgia. But we'll see if that changes. And then the latest from my area, Columbia. What are they showing now? As far as snowfall, not much. Inch or less in the Greenville-Spartanburg area to Rock Hill. But I'll show you a closer up look at that. And then we'll look at ice. I would say north and east and northeast of Columbia could get a few 100ths of an inch of ice. But this could change. Please come back for new updates in this area. Could get more significant icing in this region. And then, closer look at the Greenville-Spartanburg area. Just get an update here. Okay, this was updated. Yep, about 6:16. So, unfortunately, and I hate it, and maybe some people love it, because it's very mixed opinions in the mountains. Some people say we don't want any winter weather because of what happened with Helene. And then I got others who will totally contradict that, totally disagree, and would love a nice winter storm. But regardless of, one way or the other, this does not look like a big event for Western North Carolina and Southwestern North Carolina. You guys have not had a big winter storm since, I think, like 2022. You've just gotten a lot of kind of just the tipping of the iceberg or just a lot of northwest flow. You've not had a significant winter storm in a few years. But intraless in Greenville, Spartanburg, Shelby, intraless, Charlotte, intraless. So they have dropped the snow totals, but please don't look at these graphics as a final solution. It's very important for you not to do that. Statesville, Hickory, an inch, Clemens 2. I can read it in the comments sometimes. You can tell it's over. It's over. It's over. It's like this is the final solution. It's like they hopped in a time machine 3 days from now, and they kind of came back and reported to us and said, yes, it in fact is over, but we know that's not true. So just tune back for another update. Latest out of Raleigh. Yes, they got a new update. It's between now and 7 a.m. Thursday. 2 inches of snow in Raleigh. Durham 3. We get north. Roxborough 4. Henderson 5. Roanoke Rapids 5 to 6. Rocky Mount 3 inches of snow. We get down to Sanford around an inch. Greensboro 2. Winston-Salem 2. These totals could definitely go up and increase. We got an updated ice graphic. We do. So 1/10 to 2/10 of an inch of freezing rain in Raleigh. Smithfield going for over 1/4 of an inch of freezing rain. Goldsboro, same thing, over 1/4 of an inch. I mean, even in these areas, like for example, Raleigh going for 2 inches of snow with almost 2/10 of an inch of freezing rain. That's a pretty solid winter storm, pretty significant winter storm. But the icing situation does look worrisome. And just kind of a broad look at icing. I mean, really, eastern North Carolina is going to get hit hard with some ice. Goldsboro kind of area could be kind of the highlighted region, over 1/4 of an inch. Greenville over close to 1/4 of an inch of freezing rain. So this will be a significant event for you guys. Continuing here, we get up and unfortunately they don't really have an updated graphic for Wilmington. But it did show kind of some snow. It did show part of the Wilmington area. Now the Virginia area, new graphic. Yep, we got a new one. So between now and 7 a.m. Thursday, 2 to 3 inches of snow in Blacksburg to Roanoke. Could increase. Litchburg 4, Farmville 4, Danville 4 inches of snow, Withfield 2. Please stay tuned for updates. I know it looks like it's drying out in this area, but listen, things can change fast. That little upper level low that you're seeing could do something wacky, even as far south as South Carolina. And then latest graphic from this is an area right here that could get hit hard. Maybe one of the hardest hit areas outside of maybe Missouri. Richmond going for 5 inches of snow. Norfolk 8. Cape Charles 8 inches. Williamsburg 7. Frankfort 6. Elizabeth City, this could be a big event for you guys. I know it's only saying 3 inches. Could be much bigger. Occomack 7. Salisbury 5. Ocean City 5 inches. Cambridge 4 inches of snow. I mean, it cuts off pretty fast once you get into Delaware. And I'm going to show you guys some love up here as we get a little bit closer, but it just looks like it's going to cut off right now. And just to kind of show you guys another graphic for Southeast VA, and I know this is kind of hard to see the snowfall graphic. Norfolk technically going for 8 to 12 inches of snow. I mean, this could be your storm, guys. But here's a little graphic that was issued a couple hours ago. So, to kind of round this off, I want to show you the graph model. Now, this is becoming big in the weather community because it seems like it shows, sometimes it's right, sometimes it's wrong. But I want to show you this run. It might be a little blurry on your screen. So watch what happens here. Now, this is a wide look at this. And in fact, I want to see if Daniel Bonds has an updated graphic from this. Let's see if he has a more zoomed in look. He does not. So let's just roll with this. Just roll with this. Okay, let's kind of move my face right here. So here comes the storm on the graph model. Okay, it shows snow almost all the way down to Birmingham. It shows it coming down in northern Alabama, up here in Nashville, up here in northern Mississippi. And then check out how the snow moves into northern Georgia. I mean, you're almost getting a wintry mix in Atlanta. Snow is north of you guys. Look at all the snow moving into western North Carolina. And then you keep it going. Snowing in Raleigh, Charlotte, wintry mix to the south. Columbia, some of the pink is starting to show up really close. And then watch this backside right here. See this backside stuff? This backside wintry mix like in the 5 p.m. Wednesday? And I don't even think it's picking up on the real backside. In fact, it's not. This is just the main system. So it wants to bring kind of a wintry mix deep into central South Carolina. I mean, almost all the way to Orangeburg. Show some pink. And then this storm begins to crank up into Virginia. I know you're thinking of Virginia. We can't see our area, but this isn't even including that upper level low that swings down. You can tell some snow starting to fill in back in Nashville. A little bit of some flakes here in northern Georgia. It's not even picking up on that. So I think we got a long ways to go with figuring this system out. And it's interesting. He kind of issued a snow graphic, and this model drops 0.2 of an inch of snow on Columbia. It drops 2.5 inches of snow in Greenville. Chattanooga, 3 inches of snow. Charlotte, 2.5, 3 inches. Raleigh, over 7. Asheville, 3. So it's a little bit more bullish. In Knoxville, 3 inches of snow. It's I'm gonna hit that repost there. So it's definitely more bullish. So continue to tune in for updates, guys. Now, I do want to show some love, and then we'll wrap this up. And I do apologize for missing the daily forecast. We'll get back to normal once we're done covering this storm for sure. But, this is starting right now, some lake effect snow. But you see this band around Syracuse points north and south. This will be an epic lake effect snow band. Very scrawny, like most are. But it will not pivot much north and south. It'll just hang out over the same areas. This is Tuesday morning. This is getting into Tuesday afternoon. This is Tuesday evening. This is overnight Tuesday night and Wednesday morning. That lake effect snow band is going to drop a ton of snow. This is snowfall forecast between now and the next 48 hours. Over a foot in Syracuse. North of Syracuse, 2 feet of snow is possible. So I do just want to kind of show you guys that, because this is kind of something that will get kind of thrown under the bus because of what's going on to the south. But please be aware if you live in this area. You guys have gotten slammed. I mean, you continue just to get just lake effect snow after lake effect snow event up here. So, and this happens when you get a lot of cold air intrusions that drop to the south. So that's all I got, guys. Thank y'all for tuning in. We'll do it again tonight. Stay tuned. This is an ever-changing situation. It really is. God bless.